Welcome to the Good News Show with me, your host, Professor Grant Schofield. The Good News Show, news designed not for your negative reptilian midbrain, but for your frontal lobes, the bit of your brain that plans how to have a healthy, happy, fulfilled life. Welcome to the Good News Show, brought to you by PreKure.com, where prevention is cure. In breaking news today, the good news is, throughout New Zealand, that many centres have now run out of KFC and McDonald's because they've been overrun.
And KFC and McDonald's.
Chinese closed.
Chinese is closed too.
You might not think that's good news, but there's no more junk food to eat, so you have to go home and concentrate on eating actual healthy food prepared from scratch. And the good news is that people might be applying the 3-meal rule. What's the 3-meal rule? Well, there's 21 odd meals you might have in a week, and what you eat most of the time counts. So if you keep 18 meals, whole foods, real food, unprocessed food, prepared from scratch, and 3 of them are off the reservation at Macca's or KFC's, we're fine with that. What you do most of the time counts. So congratulations to every New Zealander today who's gone off out of their stricter lockdown and availed themselves of the McDonald's and KFC produce, but they've run out now, so don't worry about it. Don't go back. Okay, so now we're going to cross to our correspondent in the field, and the location of interest we're going to today is Invercargill in the deep South Island, and the PreKure resident psychologist there, Sophia Dawson. Let's just bring her in and see what she's got to say for herself. Good evening, Sophia, reporting from our location of interest today, Invercargill. Now, there's been some reports in the Deep South that a number of McDonald's and KFCs have run out of food. Is that what you've seen so far when you've been out and about?
I can't say I've been anywhere near those places, but I'll take your word for it.
Okay, well, that's fair enough. I guess a psychologist would be keen to keep a healthy mind, and of course eating whole actual food is part of that, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Right, so I guess the good news at the moment is that what we're seeing is one of the new emerging psychological theories, acceptance commitment therapy, is really taking hold in psychological practice, but more importantly, has some tools that people can apply in everyday life. That's good news, right?
That is absolutely good news. Yes, so acceptance and commitment therapy, otherwise known as ACT, is a treatment modality that I use kind of day to day in my work as a psychologist. So ACT is a mindfulness-based behaviour therapy. And so what ACT is, so we've got acceptance, which is the kind of openness and willingness to be able to accept really kind of tricky, difficult internal experiences like thoughts and feelings. And then we've got the commitment part, which is being able to identify what's most important to us in our life and being able to make committed action that takes us in that direction.
So this acceptance part is really what the Good News Show is all about, that in fact we are hardwired with this negativity bias, and in fact the idea of negative thoughts and feelings is part of the normal human experience, and trying to delete or get rid of those thoughts is hard, and sometimes that might even amplify them. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. That's absolutely it. So that's what the research is starting to show us, is that, the more that we try and get rid of these painful thoughts and feelings, the more they do actually kind of come back and get bigger.
Are you crying? What's that? Are you crying? Am I crying? No, I'm not crying. You're crying. It's okay to cry. People cry.
I mean, one thing that we can do to demonstrate this right now is, Grant, if I can get you to think of, say, a really kind of positive memory in your life. So if you can identify kind of one thing that you've really kind of enjoyed in your life, and I really want you to think vividly about this.
Okay, I'm in it. I'm thinking about it. I'm in therapy. It's great. I'm thinking, do I have to tell you that?
No, you don't have to tell me, but we can get everybody at home doing this as well.
Okay, well, that's just as well for the viewers. And I'm thinking about that thought. I'm engaging with it. Yeah, it's a great
Amazing.
time.
So now I want you to delete it. Just get rid of it.
It's not really happening. In fact, the opposite's happening. It's remaining there. I'm thinking about it more.
That's absolutely right. I mean, for us to try and get rid of something and to forget about something, our mind has to remember what we're trying to get rid of, right? So actually it strengthens that memory.
And this is like the white bear thought experiment, or the can of Coke or whatever.
Yes, that's the one. Yes.
Don't think of a white bear.
Yes, exactly. And what are we likely to do? Think of a white bear.
Large white bear. Yeah, we actually think more about elephants in this show, but that's okay. White bear will do. Okay, and so we can accept that negative thoughts and feelings are part of being normal. We can notice them, but don't have to always engage fully with them. What's the commitment part? We're moving towards some action.
That's the one. So it's about being able to identify the kind of life that we want to live, what is most important to us, and then being able to make committed actions that take us in that direction.
What do you want? What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want?
And so psychologists talk about the choice point and away moves and towards moves. What's that all about?
That's the one. So that's a tool that I use pretty frequently in my practice. And so what it is it's essentially telling us that, every day humans are making different choices. And all of these choices are either taking us towards the life that we want to live or towards the person we want to be, or they're taking us away from that. And so when sometimes we have really difficult kind of thoughts and feelings, we can get hooked on them and they drag us into an away move, which is when I do something that has taken me away from that life that I want.
So staying at home in bed, not going to work, or rushing off down to the Macca's rather than eating some healthy food because you want to being healthy as part of your valued life.
Absolutely right. So if I was to kind of end this call now and go to Macca's, that would absolutely be an away move for me. Yes.
Right. Okay. So towards moves, away moves, choice points, acceptance, commitment therapy. Great. And I think we'll put some links up, but this is something that people can do at home themselves, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
we can use this time that we're locked down to be able to sort of identify what it is that kind of really matters to us, and then start to schedule in kind of those small towards moves that take us in that direction of what's most important to us.
So a bit of recommended light reading for curious minds, and I've recommended this in a previous good news show, is Russ Harris's The Happiness Trap.
Yes, that's a great one. That's a really great one.
It's a recommended reading for those with curious minds about exploring their mind.
Absolutely. Couldn't recommend it more. It's a great book.
Okay, and while we've got you down there in the location of interest in Invercargill, what's the weather like there today?
It is absolutely stunning. Would you believe?
Well, that could mean anything in the good news context. It could be pouring rain, but it's actually fine. Is it beautiful?
It is beautiful. It's blue sky. It's warm. Yes.
Yeah. You want to help me out with the next two segments, Sophia. The first segment is the elephant in the room, the large grey mammal with the trunk. And today's topic is mental health and mental health professional availability. And that's something dear to your heart. Mm-hmm. What's the elephant in the room there?
So the elephant in the room there being that there's not really enough of us to go around, right? Yep. There's a lot of need and not enough psychologists or mental health professionals to be able to kind of support that need.
And so far, we call that the treatment gap. It's massive in mental health. There's a lot of talk about, we must talk more about mental health. Actually, we need to do more about it.
Don't talk about it. Be about it. Practice what you preach. Stay hard.
Absolutely.
That's the elephant in the room. And I think the weather report's going to be dear to your heart. So let's just talk about the weather now. And you can co-present this with me.
Fantastic.
So across Australia and New Zealand, across the states and territories, there's a range of high pressure and low pressure system, ridges and troughs. Actually, you've got no idea how to interpret that, what it means. And I don't think anyone has. Anything could happen. It could rain, it could be fine. It could be thunderstorms. I don't know. But regardless of what happens, I think the weather is like your life. The weather and your life. There's cloudy days, there's rainy days, there's sunny days, but behind those clouds, there's always blue sky.
That's the one. And the sky is the one constant thing, right? Just like that part of us that notices, there's a part of us that's always constant as well. So no matter what emotions kind of come through each day or each moment, we are still that constant part.
That's awesome. That's the good news show for tonight. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.